Hello, today we're going to be doing a follow along Gua Sha tutorial. During the tutorial, I'm going to be asking Ariel about some TCM questions, traditional Chinese medicine questions, while we are doing the Gua Sha. We're going to be using the stone from Inner Beauty Shop. This is the modern Gua Sha tool, so it's for facial Gua Sha. You can use it on body too, but this is the one we're going to be using. If you have a Gua Sha tool at home though, you can definitely use that as well. And I'm going to use my 100% rosehip oil I have here.
I'm going to use her signature oil blend
because this one has rosehip oil and squalene and some jojoba, and she loves jojoba. I think I'm going to put my hair up. Make sure to start, you have a clean face, so if you haven't cleansed your face, do a nice little cleanse. And then I'm going to go in with our oil. I'm going to do just a few drops on each side. Don't let the dropper touch your skin. Actually, let's introduce Ariel, because we didn't even introduce Ariel.
I forgot about this part. When my hair is up. So I'm a registered acupuncturist and a registered traditional Chinese medicine practitioner. Basically, I met Alexandra through the clinic, and we just got together.
She saved my life.
Just got together and started talking about the cosmetic acupuncture, facial gua sha, and so we decided to come up with this video where we talk about TCM in a way that viewers can understand easily while we're doing a routine.
We're going to be starting on our décolleté and neck. We start here because we want to stimulate the lymphatic system, stimulate our lymph nodes. Our lymphatic system actually doesn't have its own pump, so we like to stimulate this first so everything can properly drain and detoxify during the treatment. So naturally, the flow of the lymphatic system is stimulated by movement or gravity, but today we're all much more stagnant. We're sitting at our desks, we're working, we're more stressed, our diets, all of this impacts the natural flow of the lymphatic system. We're going to use this edge here, and at the top of the neck, go all the way down to the back of the shoulder, and we're going to repeat this 5 to 10 times. So my first question for you would be, how can people naturally incorporate TCM at home?
So TCM really, like, if you think about it, when people were in ancient China, like, not everyone could afford healthcare, so a lot of it had to be through through lifestyle and through nature. And so, like, how they would keep themselves healthy would be through the daily habits that they had. So for example, like sleeping habits, waking habits, cooking, the types of food you would choose during the seasons, emotional habits, all of them play into TCM basically. So when we listen to a patient in clinic and when we diagnose, we look at all of those things that they do. Everyone can do it. It's not like, you know, you need a certain amount of tool to involve TCM. It's just everything. You could be walking outside, you could be just like controlling your thoughts, how they're going, like where your train of thought is heading. All of that can involve TCM.
So what's an example of a good sleeping habit?
The standard is, let me back that up. So every organ in the body has like a peak time during the day. And so the standard for sleep would be to be asleep by 11 and to wake up at 7. If you can fit that into your schedule. I know everyone in Toronto is a bit different. But basically at 11 p.m. is your gallbladder time. And then that peaks for about 2 hours. And then you have your next peak, which is at 1 a.m. is your liver. And we need our blood to kind of flow back to the liver at the end of the night for the liver to nourish the blood there. It's like cleaning the blood for you to use the next day, basically, if I can say that in a layman's term. So that's like the nicest time to be asleep because you want your body to be able to do that very well. And then you want to wake up at 7 because from 7 to 9 is when you start to have breakfast. And that time is during the peak time of the spleen, and then moves into the stomach, the stomach and then moves into the spleen. And you want to digest when your organs are working at its peak time.
So now we're going to use the curved curved part here, and we're going to use this on our jawline. We're going to do 10 passes here, and then we're going to do 10 all the way back down. What's a good eating and cooking habit?
Okay, so a good eating habit, honestly, is to eat regularly. It's nice for the body to have the routine. And so if you want to eat, you know, breakfast, lunch, and dinner at a certain time, then I would stick to that. Find a schedule that works for your work schedule or day schedule, and you can start from there. And so from cooking point of view, the organs that are responsible for digestion, they like warm foods much more than cold foods. We've talked about this.
Which is crazy because I used to eat so many raw vegetables and I always thought it was so healthy, and I get so bloated. I hadn't been eating a ton of vegetables and I ate so many raw vegetables last week. I just got acupuncture with Ariel yesterday and I was so bloated. And she's like, yes, you need to be eating
because
blanched or something warm.
Yeah, like steamed for like a few minutes or whatever, just to warm up the food, so then when it goes into your digestive tract, it doesn't shock the organs there, and then the organs don't have to like warm up the food before it digests, basically. So you're using extra energy that you don't need.
Right. That's been a game changer for me.
Yeah.
Now we're just gonna switch sides and do the same thing.
The cooking. If you do want to have your smoothies and your raw vegetables, like your salads, sprinkle some ginger in it or have ginger tea with it, and that will help warm up the stomach, so then it takes the load off of your digestive system, and then you'll experience things such as bloating a lot less.
And then my next question would be about emotional habits. What are good emotional habits?
Emotional habits, so this one's a bit tricky. Like, all our lives we've been conditioned a certain way, and we obviously react very often during the day in the same way, right? So this habit is a little bit hard to break, and the first thing is just to pay attention to what your thoughts are like what's going through your mind, and just to take a breath before you react. That actually will help. Sorry. That actually will help.
This is actually difficult, multitasking.
So taking a breath will help you, like, almost like, because when you're really worked up emotionally, your energy actually starts to bunch up. Most often it's here, but it could be anywhere, and then that's when you start to have pain. But our digestive systems are often the first things that's affected. Right.
Right.
Take that breath, you actually allow that little tight ball that's forming to just like relax, and then it gives you a moment in time to just think, hey, am I being reasonable? Is this true? Is this not true? Is this just in my head? Start with that. Obviously, we can work on emotions from many sides. In TCM, you can have herbs, you can have acupuncture, certain massages, but on your own, that's the first thing you should do, I think.
I love that.
Yeah,
that's great.
Hope that's helpful.
It is. And even like just taking, I think it's like a few minutes of breath, like your cortisol levels just go down so much too. And then you have a cleared mind, and it just makes such a big difference. So effective. So another thing about this area is I find this is probably the #1 area that I have people when they message me or I'm talking to people in person and they want to start Gua Sha. It's for this area. Not everyone, but really commonly people these days will speak of this like puffiness in this area. Gua Sha can definitely help with that concern, but the other thing that's really important with the puffiness in here is actually your oral posture and breathing through your nose, which is also highly correlated to snoring, of course, because if you have proper breathing through your nose, you're properly breathing through your nose, it also will help you not snore at night. Ariel taught me is highly correlated. I won't butcher this, let her do it, but talking about the neck correlated to the stomach.
Yes, so there are many muscles in the neck, and 7 of which are controlled by the stomach organ, according to traditional Chinese medicine. So organs they're deeper in the body, they manifest on the surface as well, right? So in the muscles and on the skin. So if your digestion is weak and your stomach is having a little bit of an issue, the neck muscles will definitely show it. Like, you can have neck muscles pulling forward, and so you'll have this hunch instead of like a nice lifted posture. And when your neck muscles are flaccid and you're lying down, they will kind of like sink back and put pressure on your trachea, which is why you have that snoring. And so if you do have snoring, maybe you should look at if you have digestive issues.
And this is also something that made this click in my head, because everyone knows this, but I'm really terrible with this. Eating before bed. I am so bad with that, and I'm a snorer. So that is something I definitely cannot do because of understanding the link to now makes it even more make sense. So now we're going to be doing the upper face. Now we are going to use the side here. I kind of at the beginning didn't even speak of proper like technique. So I'm just going to quickly mention how you want to hold or use your Gua Sha stone is you want to try and keep it flat so you can utilize as much of the stone as possible, and up and out. And you get a really nice lifted practice, whereas you don't want to just like sit and just like push it back. You get way more benefit from and lighter pressure as well. You can control your pressure much better when you're holding the stone like this. We're going to go up and out over the full face. And then while we're doing that, my question for you would be, what are some at-home self-care habits that we can use?
Okay, that's relatively easy actually. So as you are doing Gua Sha, you can do something similar for the rest of your body, or you can do like light massages. And it doesn't have to be a specific technique. You can just be like patting yourself like this, or like, you know, using something to hit meridians along the body, because that does stimulate, you know, everything that's inside too. Because what is on the outside, what's manifested, is from the inside, but you can also affect the inside through the outside. Massages, such as what you're doing right now, or just like, what do they call it when people dry brush?
Dry brushing is so good.
Yeah, that's also stimulating your organs. You can hit yourself, you can do this. Will help stimulate your immune system. I've helped people with COVID, like recover from COVID, through just massages on their chest, on their legs, even bronchitis, like anything.
Which is so crazy. But people have had like such good success with that, right?
Yeah,
like at home, just even with the tapping, which is
many patients they can help themselves just with the massage, because when you're that sick, you don't want to do anything or go anywhere, and so stimulating your organs in your body and by just massage at specific points. Of course, you should talk to like an acupuncturist and ask them like, oh, what points are good to stimulate to get over bronchitis and to get over COVID or post-COVID.
So the benefits at home facial Gua Sha, of course, the lymphatic stimulation because of the drainage, but also there's tons of different benefits. So that circulation is great for the blood flow, which keeps the muscles and tissues very healthy, which is why it's so anti-aging, and it's also why you get that post-facial Gua Sha glow. That is what everyone loves, of course, and kind of that initial lift. But the other benefit is having the time with yourself, to be present, to get out of your head and be with your body, especially if you're doing this practice at night, to de-stress from the day, the stress of the city, the chaos, the work, wherever you are, everyone's stressed, just to kind of let everything go. It's really nice to use it for almost meditation. So now once you're done the full face of the light pressure for lymphatic drainage, I like to go in, and this is where I really like to utilize the rigid side to get in all the areas that you feel, this will be different per person, where you're holding extra tension. So I hold a lot in my forehead and my brows and in my masseter. So I'll go in, and with the rigid section, I hold this top up here and just use it. It's still light, but you can use a little bit of a harder pressure.
Oof, yeah, I feel that.
Feels so good. Or for me, if I'm going the master, same thing. The rigid side just gives a little extra muscle release, and then just running back and forth, just keeping the skin taut. And then also with the side, if you need extra release, you can just really get in there. This feels so good. And also going your brows in here. This is, a lot of people hold a lot of tension in here. Or even in the scalp here, it feels so good. And you just feel it out. And every day is different. The area that really commonly helps a lot is in the sinuses. A lot of people are tight in here, whether it be allergies or just because we express with our face and we're always moving, and this area takes a big toll. And also when this is tight, you lack circulation to your under eyes. So we see a lot of dark circles coming from the sinuses being tight. Or maybe you have kidney problems, you see the dark under eyes, it's all correlated. So really work in here. And the key with here is if you're working in the sinuses, to drain it out.
I really like how this feels, like this part.
The ridges, I love.
Yeah.
You can also use this on the body, scraping outwards, and this can be really light. This is good for your full body too, especially in the morning. If you do a quick full pass on the arms and legs, it kind of gets everything going, your lymph.
There you go. stimulate the nervous system. Or sorry, the nervous system. The immune system before you head out.
Everything. So the last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna use the side again, and we're just gonna drain everything down. So we're just gonna do a few passes down to the bottom of the neck here.
So can you explain like why this gua sha tool has 4 different sides like I've never seen?
Yeah, for sure. So the reason I love this shape so much is because these 2 sides, these can kind of work interchangeably for either long areas or the face to lift and to move the lymph. But this is really nice to sculpt. So in the jawline or in those smaller areas, it's also great for the brow. And then this is the last edge, which is the comb part, which is great for muscle release.
Yeah, I really feel this one on here. I have a lot of.
I know, right? In here, this helps prevent fine lines and wrinkles so well, releasing all the muscle tension, getting all the blood flow there. It's so good.
This is like kind of like pain, but in a good way.
Good pain. And that's the tutorial. Do you have any questions or anything about the tutorial?
I do. Okay, so because like in Chinese massage, like the average time to do something is usually 2 minutes or 200 strokes, for example. So for you, with this gua sha tool, like how many times should I repeat this and this and this? And,
yeah, you know? I would say depending on the time you have in whenever you're going to do the practice, 5 to 10 is kind of the ballpark for each stroke. So even if you're doing a quick practice, you can just do 5 on the neck and the décolleté to stimulate the lymphatic system, and then go in and just do another 5 where needed. And then you can go in and then finish with the muscle release. So normally I would say full practice can be like 10 minutes. If you're doing 10 strokes, it's normally like 10 minutes. But of course you can do a 5-minute practice and you don't have to do every single area. Just always make sure you are doing the neck and décolleté to properly stimulate the lymphatic system. When people are trying to fit this into their routines and to make it a habit, I'll say if you can at least do it 3 times a week, 10 minutes 3 times a week, that's key. And that's the tutorial. Let us know you guys liked it. It's definitely more challenging to do both speaking and do the tutorial at once, but I hope you guys did learn something new. Ariel is just like I said, a fountain of knowledge. I always learn so much when I'm with you.
Aw, thank you.
Hope I can bring that to you guys.
If you have any questions that you think may have a TCM solution, just whatever, send us your question and we'll try and answer it the next time.
Yeah.
And
hopefully make more videos.
Yeah.
I know we definitely want to make one for my personal journey of acupuncture. If that is something you guys are interested in, I will happily do that because it's been such a wonderful ride.
I watched this person grow. It's been great.
It's been so cool. Thanks for watching.
See you in the next video.